When you're specific about asking God for something, it's not too difficult for Him to give you what you ask for. Marcus and I married in 1999. About 2 years later, we were just really desiring to have children. We were at church one day, and Miss Doty came up to speak to the congregation, and she said, "Is there anybody here that desires to have children?" And out of 8,000 people who were in the auditorium, I'm the only one raising my hand, and I'm on the platform behind her.
And I look around the auditorium and nobody's raising their hand but Cindy. And I thought, well, what are the chances and the odds of that happening? And so I felt like that was really a divine moment. And we felt like that, she really called Windsor right out of the heavens, because it was 9-10 months later and here he was.
Windsor had prayed for a brother and sister.
He says, I want an older sister and a younger brother. So we weren't sure how that was going to work out. I guess we prayed for probably a year and a half. And you know how kids are. They're like, "Dad, can we have it by Christmas? Can I have my brother and sister by Christmas?" And it's interesting that he would ask for one of each. 2006 goes by. Yeah. And, it's
baby,
not like you can just go down in the store and get a baby. So
Call Santa.
Baby. Call Santa, right? This is the year of '07.
Right.
And so we're doing all we know to do, seeing all the fertility specialists, and they really have given us reason to hope.
Right.
They haven't given us any bad news or anything like that, but just, nothing happens.
In January of 2008, we went to see the final fertility specialist.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And he was supposed to be, one of the leaders in the field. We had taken Windsor with us that day because we didn't have anyone who could keep him for us during this doctor's appointment. He was playing in the floor with some toys while we were talking to the doctor. But bottom line, he just told me, he said, "Listen, your chances for children are over." And so when the doctor gave us that news, I can't even tell you what I felt. Something died on me. I felt like I had failed. Marcus has been a champ, He's just, listen, God's got a plan. He's working it out. He didn't feel like I had failed him. I felt that way. We got home that day, and of course, I was in a big pool of self-pity. And Windsor comes and sits down next to me, and, he's only 5 years old at this time. He said, "Are you crying because the doctor said you can't have any more children?" And I said, "Yes, I am, Windsor." And he said, "Well, don't worry." He said, "Jesus is going to bring us some babies." Here he had been praying for a brother and a sister by Christmas time, and what we didn't know is the little birth mom who gave birth to our twins was pregnant at Christmas.
She had conceived prior to Christmas by that time. So God had already worked it out. It was already in motion. We didn't know that. I think it was May.
Nancy Alcorn from Mercy Ministries called, and she said, "We have a young mother who's pregnant with twins. Would you be interested?" In my spirit, something leapt. I knew those babies were ours. And we got to meet her face to face and sat down and talked to her for about 2 hours. This was really just a get to know her meeting.
We're praying, "Lord, give us favor, let her choose us, because you never know who else is out there."
I guess about an hour into that 2-hour meeting with her, she goes, "Well, I just can't stand it any longer. I have to tell you guys that you're the family I've chosen." And we just, we burst into tears. The young girl was crying. We all just knew in our spirits that this was God's favor on our lives. This was our moment for her, for us, for these children.
I wonder if the babies are up.
Me too. Let's go see. Where's brother?
We're getting our hair cut.
Hi.
I was thinking about that earlier, that God had provided us with a miracle in Windsor, and He was the one who prayed specifically for the next miracle. in our lives, which is just, that's how God works. It's kind of like Pastor's recent message. You don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but God has already gone before you and made a way for you. He just worked everything out beautifully. He just set us up to win.